L&T markets knew that they would be selling a lot of they're in the process of selling some of the non-core businesses. They've taken two companies public. And the Schneider deal, in a sense, is only going to increase more cash in their balance sheet. I don't think that L&T stock is going to get re-rated because of this, but yes, it's going to remain warm, largely off account of this deal per se. Marico numbers again would be very, very crucial. Vivek, how do you read into the latest news development for Indigo? I mean, Aditya Ghosh, the public face of the company, is suddenly out, and he's going at a time when the sector per se is going through a boom time.
Well, I don't need to read too much into exit of Aditya Ghosh. Yes, he was the public face of the company, but a company of this size, any company of this size, I mean, leave alone Indigo, most of the business is pretty operations driven, very strong process driven. So the person at the top, I mean, his presence or absence or being replaced by somebody else, I don't think really would change the growth trajectory that Indigo has had so far in terms of either their market share, in terms of their superior revenue mix, or even their superior profitability compared to the other two listed airline stocks, Jet Airways and SpiceJet. I mean, Indigo has got an unparalleled track record. And I don't think that any of those things would change, because a lot of the building blocks that Aditya Ghosh would have put in the last 5-7 years, and actually the credit is not only to Aditya Ghosh but the entire senior management team, most of whom were in the background. So I'm not too much worried about exit of one particular person. I'm sure there's a very able team already in place, and maybe there are going to be a couple of more new entrants.
I used to always think like this, that individuals don't matter because these are board run and process management companies. But let me just throw some examples at you. Look at Britannia, Neeta Bali and Mr. Berry. Operating profit margins have gone up from sub 10% to about 15-16%. Shibulal versus Chris. Nandan versus Shibulal, Vishal Sikka, and now the new management. Individuals do matter. I don't know. I mean, IndusInd Bank, a classic example. It's been a 20x in the last 7-8 years ever since Ramesh Supti took over. Axis Bank, disaster when Shikhar Sharma was trying to grow it and when Mr. PJ Nayak was trying to run it. So, you know, it's great when we talk about companies are board run and they've got processes in place, but the vision of an individual does matter. I'm not pointing out Indigo as a specific example,
here
but to generalize
I think it's a vision of the promoters, Mr. Bhatia and Mr. Gangwal. My sense is that it is their vision and their strategy, and maybe the professional management team, the second line, was largely on side of execution in that sense. So at least at this point of time, I don't have reasons to be worried about. Maybe a couple of quarters later, if we do see that, yes, things aren't as they were earlier, yes, we would have reasons to doubt.
Fair point.
But at this point of time, there's nothing really to doubt the management, rest of the management which is already in place.
Of course, fair point.
The rural India uptick really seems to be evident. If you track Dabur's numbers, very impressive volume growth there. Escorts has posted a 28% uptick in the monthly sales. M&M tractor sales have been very robust. What within this entire rural play are you betting on?
See, there are multiple ways one could play the rural theme. In the sense you mentioned of Mahindra and Mahindra, Escorts and all that. So one is tractors and agri equipment seem the first point, where my preferred bet would be to play it via Swaraj Engines, which supplies engines to the North India business of Mahindra and Mahindra, what used to be erstwhile Punjab Tractors, now part of Mahindra and Mahindra. So that seems a pure play, very strong company, consistent growth, very clean transfer pricing mechanism, and of course Mahindra and Mahindra is also the promoter. So that's one. Number two, an extension continuing with autos. I think Hero is another dark horse that has underperformed in the last couple of years, probably underperformed for 3-4 years now, could make a strong comeback. We are also seeing the numbers for TVS, I mean 24% volume growth. So, and TVS has been now delivering after slightly shaky numbers few years ago. I think has been delivering month after month double-digit volume growth. Maruti, of course, remains all-time favorite with increased rural penetration. But if I could extend the rural prosperity theme to consumer goods and durables as well, which our colleague Sandeep I was hearing him a while back. So most of the FMCG companies which have a rural focus, a substantial rural. So you mentioned Dabur, Imami, Marico. I mean, all of these. ITC also would be a beneficiary, and of course the big daddy HUL. HUL of course has been among the top performers, very low profile, but among the top Nifty performers in the last 1, 2, 3 and 5 years. So some of these remain preferred bets, and really there's no deviating from that if one is playing the rural theme. In an election year, over the next 2 years, the number of state elections also that we have, besides of course the big general election 12 months from now, one really can't ignore the rural theme actually.